What is going on? How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. LSU football. They are off on a tear right now in the transfer portal. Lane Kiffin is on a tear again in the transfer portal. And Lane Kiffin is now, I think he's been this, but he's now kind of known as the transfer portal king. And he has completely revamped and stacked this LSU quarterback room. And LSU just landed two of the hottest quarterbacks in the entire transfer portal. They got a starter. They got, I'd say, a future quarterback, the quarterback of the future, the next 3 years, I'd say, 3 to 4 years. So let's get straight into that. Before we do start, I do want to let you know I'm not going to go too in depth on these. Just going to give my thoughts and opinions on it and see what you guys think as well. So let me know in the comments what you think of all of this that is going on with LSU football. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first one, this one, as of today, let me pull it up. Well, thought it was going to pull up. Hold on. I don't know what happened. Well, I guess it's not going to go pull up. But anyways, Hassan Longstreet is an LSU Tiger. So there were a lot of speculation that he would end up at Miami. He would end up at Tennessee. He would end up somewhere because there are a lot of teams looking for a quarterback right now. There are a lot of big market teams looking for a quarterback. LSU got two of them. LSU just landed two of the biggest quarterbacks in the transfer portal, I would say. Now, Hassan Longstreet, a lot of people were kind of confused when he hit the transfer portal. When he did hit the transfer portal, it seemed like LSU had interest from the jump. It seemed like he wanted to. I mean, when you're leaving USC, when Jaden Mayav only has 1 year left, it seems like you want to go somewhere and start. So the whole speculation was, where is Hassan Longstreet going to go to where he could start? He was linked to Oregon. And then now, as of today, Dante Moore is back there. And also Dylan Raiola committed there. So Oregon's quarterback room looks pretty good from here on. And now Hassan Longstreet ends up at LSU. So like I said, they brought him in on a visit as soon as he hit the portal. So there was some speculation there that he could end up at LSU. But this was before Sam Leavitt was committed. So then Sam Leavitt committed. A lot of people were thinking Hassan Longstreet would end up, like I said, in Miami or Tennessee. No one really, everybody kind of put LSU out of the picture because, like I said, when you leave USC and really one of the better quarterback coaches in the entire league or quarterback developing head coaches in the entire league, then it seems like you want to go somewhere to start. He's not doing that, but he came to one of the best quarterback development head coaches in the entire league in Lane Kiffin. And man, I cannot wait to see Hassan Longstreet play in this Lane Kiffin system. When you're looking at Hassan Longstreet, and I'm just breaking him down, I'd say he has the highest ceiling out of any quarterback prospect that I've seen in a while. And yes, that is massive praise, and maybe that is going a little too far. But that's just my opinion and what I think I see in him. I think he's an absolutely incredible talent. And there was a reason that USC made a super strong push to get him. You know, when it's been said several times, when Lincoln Riley recruits a quarterback, he don't recruit a quarterback unless he thinks they can win a Heisman. And he's been pretty spot on with that so far. So he saw something big in Hassan Longstreet because, like I said, they made a huge push to get him, and they landed him. This is a former 5-star, one of the top quarterbacks, maybe the top quarterback in his class, I think. Slam dunk by Lane Kiffin to go out and do this. You know, he made a post after they signed Sam Leavitt. He said, "Great day today. We're going to go have a better one today," tomorrow, which is today. Or he didn't say a better one, but he said a big one. Well, now you went out and you got one of the best quarterbacks in the transfer portal again. So I think Hassan Longstreet is the future at LSU. You're going to see him once Sam Leavitt leaves. Now, like I said, you did go out and pick up Sam Leavitt, which is the number one quarterback in the transfer portal, who is probably the most ready right now to lead this team to a national championship. This is another slam dunk. I already posted a video about this, but man, it's absolute slam dunk. Go out to Sam Leavitt. I think Sam Leavitt gives off like Jackson Dart vibes in the Lane Kiffin system, but I'd say more of a polished Jackson Dart than what you saw at Ole Miss. I can't wait to watch it. This LSU squad is going to be so much fun, and I'm going to be covering a lot. I'm going to be covering a lot of LSU stuff this year. But anyways, yeah. Sam Leavitt's the guy right now. And then Hassan Longstreet will be the next. And you got your future quarterback at LSU. So if you're an LSU fan, I wouldn't worry about the future whatsoever. Now, where does Landon Clark fit in now? Because I'm pretty high on Landon Clark. Landon Clark has the capability to be like I'm not saying he'll be as good as Trinidad Chambliss, but that type of player. A guy coming from the group of five or the FCS. And, you're not really expecting much because he is coming from the FCS, but he's an absolute baller. So he could very well translate. And he's another guy. He's super young. He's a redshirt freshman. Landon Clark, true dual threat quarterback, is going to be very interesting. Going to be very interesting because when Landon Clark committed, it seemed like he was the backup. When Landon Clark committed, I thought he was the backup because he came in before Sam Leavitt. So he obviously knew that he wasn't going to be the starter, I would assume. Because he obviously knew that they were in on Sam Leavitt and they were in on Hassan Longstreet, and he still came into LSU. Part of that could be to just sit behind an offense with Charlie Weiss and Lane Kiffin for a little while and really get the high end of the development on that side and then transfer out somewhere else. I'm not sure. But I did just a few days ago think that Landon Clark was maybe the future quarterback at LSU. Not next year, but in the next few years. But now you got Hassan Longstreet. So I'm very curious to see where Landon Clark does fit. I'm very curious to see if Landon Clark does stay around at LSU. Because I think there was a fair size market for him. I saw a few teams in on him. He had some pretty good interest there. So yeah, that is all we have for this video. I know I just rambled a lot pretty much, but that's what this channel is about. I just ramble and give my thoughts and opinions on stuff. So if you are an LSU fan and you did enjoy this, I'd greatly appreciate if you did consider subscribing to the channel. You guys have shown me amazing support on all my LSU videos. And yeah, that's it for this one. Let me know in the comments what you think about these quarterbacks and how excited you are. Because if I'm an LSU fan and I just went from the Brian Kelly era to the Lane Kiffin era, I'd be absolutely thrilled. And I think they're off to an absolute... They're on fire in the transfer portal right now, which you kind of expect with Lane Kiffin as your head coach. But anyways, yeah, that's it for this one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.